Bullshit.
Pretend for a moment we've entered a parallel universe, free of bullshit and full of bold solutions. That's what the No BS Marketing Show is all about. I'm your host, Dave Mastovich. Today's show is an excerpt from my presentation at Indiana University of Pennsylvania's Business Day event at the Kovalchik Convention Center, attended by hundreds of IUP juniors and seniors. I start off talking about Bill Belichick in front of a crowd full of hostile Steelers fans. I move on to provide tips on how soon-to-be college grads and other people early in their career can better position themselves through no BS content. I hope you enjoy hearing the ideas. It was a great time, and the positive energy from the audience was contagious. So Bill Belichick talks about Insta-chat and Snapface in interview after interview when he's asked about social media. And do you really think that Bill Belichick doesn't understand social media? No, he understands it quite well. Bill Belichick is a disciplined leader and communicator, and he understands that social media can be disruptive to his team. But he also knows that there's a misperception about age that Bob was showing you. So he makes fun of it as if he doesn't understand. But he talks about do your job as his mantra. And he's all about communication. Even though he appears like a curmudgeon with that same hoodie every game, every press conference, he's a heck of a communicator. So while he personally doesn't use social media, he's important to you because he makes fun of the fact that it sounds like he doesn't understand it, but he knows it's so important that he has to try to control it because he wants people to do their job. And if the New England Patriots think it's that important and they don't use it to do business, think of how relevant it is to us. Now, we can all disagree with our friend over here about Bill Belichick, but he's arguably the greatest of all time in all sports, and he's definitely the most successful NFL coach. And he understands the importance of discipline and communication. So what I'm talking about and what Bob and Susie have talked about is tying that all back together because it's about disciplined communication by each of us. By each of us. When you're in the phase you're at now and you have to tell your story to try to get a job, it's important to know that you have some control over your story and you need to drive that story because if you don't, you're leaving it up to what's already out there. That's me, not Bill Belichick. First thing you need to do is Google yourself. When I get a new class, this semester I had 57 people in my class. Now, Cindy Stripmatter and Bob Kemp were like, can you handle that? I'm like, a bigger audience for me, baby. Now, come test time, I say, oh, I see why they were worried about it. But I ask the students how many of them are involved with promoting themselves, and I Google most of them. When you have 57, it actually was probably the most time I'll spend on the class. But I joked that a couple of them, when I Googled them, what came up was their citation for underage drinking. And I said, it's okay, I mean, I get it. But the point is, that's what happens when you Google yourself. So you all need to Google yourself regularly. And you have to see what's up there and figure out how you can move that digital dirt down. Because we all have done things that are mistakes. The difference for this generation is that it's out there for pretty much ever. So you need to drive that down the page because 68% of us only look at the first item when we Google something. It drops about 88% look at the first three. Only 6% go to the second page. I go to the second page. And it's just one more thing that makes me strange. But 6% go to the second page. So what we teach our clients is we want to have enough content that anything negative, any digital dirt gets pushed to the second page. What you all need to do is Google yourself and see what comes up. If nothing comes up, that's okay. It's a fresh start. You need to build it. Google and LinkedIn tied together so you can control the first one that comes up by controlling your LinkedIn page and having a LinkedIn page. Susie mentioned creating content. You need to be creating content. We as employers look at the social media stuff. 90% or more recruit through social media. 94% use LinkedIn. Those same 6, I guess maybe we're on page 2, I guess, I don't know, but only 94%. I don't know anybody that doesn't use LinkedIn that's an employer, so that's just a couple of people that want to mess the survey up. 65% use Facebook, 55% Twitter. So now look at this crowd and you're like, we don't bother much with LinkedIn. Facebook's for you old people. We use Twitter and Snapface and InstaChat. You thought you were okay using Twitter. Anybody that's going to work at Mass Solutions, I look at their Twitter feed. If they're a candidate, I go to their LinkedIn page first. I read what's on Google about them. How about this one? The average time we, employers, spend looking at your LinkedIn profile, 6 seconds. And 19% of that time is spent looking at your picture. I have students in my class send me LinkedIn Connect requests, and they have no picture on their profile. And I tell them the first day of class, I will not connect with anyone that doesn't have a profile picture. Just if you're that lazy, I don't want to be bothered with you. You're going to mess up my network. Second thing, I won't connect with all those pictures of like scantily clad women that claim they work at these big Fortune 500 companies, and it's spam. But 6 seconds is how long someone spends looking at your profile. 19% of it's looking at your picture. Princeton researchers have found that people form an impression of you from your photo in 1/10 of a second. So I won't be offended if you hurry up and look at your LinkedIn page on your phone right now to see what your picture is and see what everybody is making their impression of you. If you want the job, you have to look the part. And we'll talk about how the part is different at each company. The culture is different at each company. The culture at the New England Patriots is very different from the culture at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both good cultures, one's better. I hate to admit it, but one is. Recruiters connect with this instantly. Then they give your skills and credentials the full weight they deserve. So we're looking at your profile picture. We're spending 10, 15 seconds seeing what you wrote initially. And if you pass that test, then we start looking at your skills. So what's that mean for you? I don't want you to only focus on LinkedIn because the bigger picture is what Susie said. You need to be creating content. You need to be creating content about what you're passionate about. Exactly what Susie said. Whatever you're passionate about, turn that into part of your story. If you're passionate about music and your major is marketing, you can write so many things about music and tie it back to marketing. And now you have a blog post, a LinkedIn post, and then you tweet that with the link there, and you're creating content that is helping you. It's helping your Google. So when you Google yourself, it's helping you to be able to write and communicate, which is what's going to happen and differentiate you in the workplace. When I look at this room, there are about 2 or 3 of you that in the first 2 years are going to impress the shit out of somebody. And the difference is really the communication. It's not even necessarily the talent or the productivity, it'll be the communication. Whether that's fair or not, that's the reality. You need to be creating content, you need to be writing and posting It shows that you can communicate and articulate. So he likes Bill Belichick. He could write something about Bill Belichick's leadership and poke fun at Pittsburgh and say, I'm an IUP student that had the courage to do that. That'll get traction. And now you've written something, and it can be 200 words, 300 words. And it gets traction, shows he's passionate about leadership, shows he can write. And when I Google him, now that comes up in addition to some of the other stuff. The No BS Marketing Show is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nobs. Try a book like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Download it for free today at audibletrial.com/nobs. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Thanks for joining us for the No BS Marketing Show. Visit masssolutions.biz for show notes plus additional marketing and messaging resources. Are you signed up for light reading? You'll receive timely, valuable ideas to improve your marketing and transform your message. It really is light, intended to be read in 2 minutes or less, and it just might trigger bright ideas for you. To sign up, visit masssolutions.biz. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions.